This is my final project for language development and communication disorders. I decided to do this project on a kindergarten boy, level 3 student on my roster who has autism spectrum disorder. This student has a hard time with functional communication, especially when he's frustrated. And he currently speaks in 1 to 2 word utterances or phrases consistently. The student receives specially designed instruction for his social emotional behavior and his communication and speech. He receives 15 minutes of pull-out for his social emotional behavior, as well as 80 minutes per month for his speech minutes. The student has full-time paraprofessional services, and I figured that I'd include this as well because I feel like it's kind of where the student is at, is that we're getting a behavior intervention plan started here in the near future for the student. My goal for this project and for the student is to implement visual interventions. I've got a more time card, picture exchange communication system, and social story to help the student express their wants and needs appropriately, while also increasing the length of response to be more age appropriate for the student. And these interventions will help the student in turn increase his independence with his communication across the school day in various situations. So the first intervention for this student is a functional communication for requesting more time. So currently this student engages in inappropriate behavior when given a redirection or asked to stop a preferred activity. So what this looks like is in the gen-ed setting, maybe center's time, a recess, the student is asked to clean up or come inside, and instead of listening to those directions, the student will cry, scream, engage in physical aggression with peers and the adults that are working with them, and also elope from the classroom. So that's why I chose this intervention, to help the student not engage in those behaviors and in turn engage in this replacement behavior. So what we're going to do is first, before creating the material, we're going to recognize that problem, create that intervention. So then we're going to create the material, and we're going to model how to request more time using his AAC device and verbally. We're going to model this both for the para gen ed teacher and for the student himself, obviously. So with the AAC device, I've got his here. It's going to be hard to see in the light, but what the student can do is, on his device, he has buttons for I need, and then we have customized his to have a 1 more minute on his device, so he can
I need 1 more minute.
Ask for 1 more minute using his device. So what this looks like is during his specially designed instruction, we may be engaging in a preferred activity. Let's say Play-Doh. He's playing with some Play-Doh, and I'm going to say that time is all done. We need to move on to the next thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to verbalize, I'm so frustrated. I really want to keep playing. And I can then use the student's device to model and show him I need 1 more minute. As I do that, I've got this tool here. After he requests 1 more minute, I'm going to take the time off. I'm going to show it to him, showing him that he has asked for 1 more minute. I'm acknowledging that time, and I'm going to start a 1 minute timer, praising him for engaging in that behavior, saying, thank you, student, for asking for 1 more minute. Here's your 1 more minute. I'm giving this minute to you. Making sure to really praise that student for engaging in this replacement behavior. We continue playing. time goes up again. I'm again modeling, saying, man, I'm so frustrated. I want to keep playing with whatever that we're playing with. I want to keep playing with the Play-Doh. I'm going to model this time, maybe verbally, I need 1 more minute. I'm saying it. As I say it, I'm taking off the little timer, acknowledging you have asked for 1 more minute. I'm putting it down. After I do this, I'm showing the student, I'm making sure that they know that when these 2 are gone, that, they've asked for 1 more minute. I've given them some more time. I appreciate them asking for more time, but now we are going to need to move on to the next thing. So the time goes up again, and whatever we're doing, we're going to stop, and we're going to move on to whatever's next. So then we're going to continue. I'm going to continue to provide him that opportunity during that specially designed instruction. The para and the gen ed teacher are going to, provide him with the visual throughout the day to make sure that he has access to it so that he can, engage in asking for 1 more minute instead of engaging in those inappropriate behaviors. Then we're going to record that data. We're going to monitor it. We're going to see if he's able to increase his ability to independently request to meet his, if he's able to independently request how to meet his needs. So that's ties in with his social emotional behavior goal. Is he able to ask for 1 more minute independently? And there's a scale that goes with that. And then we're going to adapt as needed. So that was the last thing that I added on this list for how we can request for more time. So something that we noticed with this student is when he was extremely frustrated, there's times where it was really hard for him to use his AAC device. He knows where we've had the intervention in place. He's shown his ability to use it when frustrated, and then kind of in practice during that modeling time, he's been able to use it. He's been able to verbally say, I need 1 more minute, but sometimes when he's extremely frustrated, it's hard to engage in those behaviors. It's not as easy as, engaging in those inappropriate behaviors. So had to adapt the intervention, and instead of him saying, I need 1 more minute, or just point, or using his device, he can simply point to the more time card, and that is him communicating to us, I need more time. I'm not ready to be done yet. That's not really helping in his, increasing his length of phrases that he uses. But he is communicating through the visual, that he needs more time with whatever activity. So we're going to acknowledge that form of communication for the student as well. The next intervention that we're using for this student is, this one is to increase those phrases. So we see that the student is currently engaging in just 1 to 2 word phrases throughout the day to get his wants and needs met. So we want to, increase those length of phrases. So we're going to use the intervention for the picture exchange communication system. So we're going to create this material. We see the problem, we're going to create the material. The material that we're using is things that we know that the student is going to be using at all times throughout the day. So we want to give him choices throughout the day. This is going to be reinforcing for the student because he's able to choose what he's doing. We're increasing his autonomy, and we're giving him that choice for what he wants to write with. So what that looks like is we're going to read with the student what is on the pictures. We're going to say, I want to use, and then choose the form of, in this case, what we want to write with. He's going to get many opportunities throughout the day with myself, with the para, with the gen ed teacher, and not that this goes along with this project per se, but as well as him increasing his length of response. He's also going to be able to engage in whatever activity we are doing. After we model it and we continue to provide practice opportunities, we're going to record data, we're going to progress monitor. This is going to be through communication logs. So this is on the back of one of his data sheets. He has a communication log where we're looking at, where the student is able to communicate beyond those 1 to 2 word phrases. So, at the start of the year, we're writing down, a lot of those 1 word phrases that he's saying, but now we want to, see where he is using, more than 2 words to get his needs met. And then this is hopefully going to, in turn, help him throughout different situations on the day. So this one we have for increasing those phrases in writing. This one is for, where he wants to sit in the room. So I want to sit in the cube chair on the wiggle seat, and then the green and blue are different carpet squares. And then lastly, I want to work at the table or on the floor. So for this one, at the start of the year, or, even sometimes now, the student is simply saying, floor or table. And we want to slowly build him up to say, I want to work at the table, or even I want table, instead of just that 1 word phrase. And then lastly, this ties along with that first intervention of requesting more time. That time was through that physical play. This time's through a sensory social story. So again, we see that problem. Student has a hard time pausing, or has a hard time when given redirection to engage in appropriate behavior. So we've got the 1 more minute in place. So we're going to create the social story. We're going to read the social story with the student. As we're reading the social story with the student, we're going to model how to request more time using his AAC device, verbally saying it, and also, again, pointing to the card, providing those practice opportunities during the reading, saying I do, you do, and then again, recording that data, progress monitoring. Is the student able to engage in the replacement behavior of, requesting more time instead of engaging in that inappropriate behavior? So what that may look like is during SDI is I'll pull him, we'll read, this student likes to play in the story. It'll talk about, how we're at group, and sometimes it's frustrating when our teacher tells us to stop. I will remind myself that I can ask for, 1 more minute. I can ask to take a walk. I can ask to go lie down. And then, again, continue to adapt as we need to. And these are my references.